In Act 3, it's another week of huge six-pointers. The biggest one probably right off the bat, New England at Colorado on Saturday night. This is a game where the Revolution starting to play well, problems maybe with some personnel, whether it's Ralston, Jankowskis, like that, but they're in the playoff zone. Colorado in there, but they've only gotten 3 points out of their last 3 games. Yeah,
both teams are in the playoffs looking out. The problem is, if either of them loses, they could easily be passed by other teams. Exactly. So nobody really feels safe. It's almost like you'd want to think a tie would be good for both of them, but really it's not enough at this point. You need to be winning games if you're in this playoff hunt.
Well, the Revolution have never really done well at altitude. That's always an advantage for Colorado. They didn't have the advantage, actually, though, when San Jose came to town, and they were only able to get a draw. The Rapids, they don't seem to be clicking right now. I mean, this is a team that was doing so well with Connor Casey and Omar Cummings playing well in attack, especially. They've gotten Mastroeni back. That doesn't necessarily seem to have helped.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. San Jose played a great game in San Jose and held Colorado for most of the game until the penalty at the end. When they went to Colorado, you almost expected Colorado to win that game. All right, Colorado's a better team.
Okay,
they're
you got
at home.
The draw in San Jose, it happens. You're on the road, now you're at home.
But what I think happened is San Jose, having just played Colorado, you know the team. You know the team a little better. You know what they're going to do. You know what they're trying to do and how they're trying to score, and you know what worked in San Jose. I think that maybe made the difference and kept the game a lot closer than it could have been. Probably. I don't know that Colorado's been playing terribly. They're not getting results.
They wouldn't say terribly. They're just not playing the way they were a month ago even.
Right, and I agree with that. But I think Colorado still has a little more in the tank than we want to give them credit for after their string of results didn't go that well. So it's going to be tough for New England going out there. Again, we said if they have Shawry Joseph on the field, they have a chance. But I think it definitely looks more like a Colorado victory at this point.
Yeah, I think the biggest problem for Colorado really is that they don't have the flank play that they had earlier in the season. That's the key, especially with a guy like Connor Casey who sits in the middle. And, of course, with those runs from Omar Cummings. Well, the other huge game that will have a massive impact on the playoff standings the way they are, Chivas at DC United. This is really a question of, can Sasha Kljestan recover from blowing it this past weekend on the PK? Chivas right now, the worst attack in the league. 1.04 goals a game. Terrible, basically, right? DC, though, you know, they were doing okay, and then they struggled against San Jose at home.
Yeah, even when Chivas was doing well at the beginning of the season, they still weren't scoring a ton of goals.
But they were winning at 1-0 or 2-1 or something like that.
Pretty much been a 2009 epidemic for them. They have no way of solving this.
They haven't scored more than 2 goals any game this year.
Now, for DC, I wanted to say that they really lost their chance to cement, you know, to get into the playoffs with that loss to San Jose. Technically, they're still in it pretty much as any other team, but they need to win. They have a home game. They need to win this game against a team that doesn't score a lot. DC needs to figure it out somehow. Needs to get even if it's taking Emilio off the field. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say that, but who are you going to play it forward that's going to be productive if you're DC?
Right now, DC is, you know, in the Champions League. They're playing those games as well. If you're the coach of DC, if you're Tommy Sohn, do you pick one of the tournaments or one of the things? Do you pick MLS? Do you pick CCL and just go for one?
No, you try to win every time you get on the field. And I'll tell you what, when you're going to play San Juan Jablote, you should win that game. They have a better chance, I'd say right now, after that loss to San Jose, that they have a better chance of advancing in Champions League than they do in MLS.
Well, see, this is the argument that coaches will make. But coaches will make, you know what, we get paid to do well in MLS, not in the Champions League. So why would we waste our resources, waste our older players like Moreno and Gomez and stuff, make them more tired in the Champions League if we really need to make the playoffs in MLS?
Look, DC has a deep enough team where they can win. There's no reason that they couldn't win both of these games.
Now, there are reasons, though. They're not playing well. You know, they're running out of gas.
Chris Pontius, I remember listening to this comment and thinking, that's what I want to hear from players. He said, I love having midweek games. I'd much rather play a midweek game than practice all week.
It's easy to say when you're a 22-year-old with a lot of gas in the tank and you can still run
all you want. I get that, but you can rest your players during the week if you need to. Playing a game on Tuesday or Wednesday and then Saturday or Sunday, it shouldn't kill a professional athlete.
So that's what I'm arguing is, yes, you need to start resting them. I think it does take its toll, especially toward the end of the season. That's the problem right now. It's just not deep enough. And
is Christian Gomez getting rested or is he getting benched? because he wasn't producing out on the field.
That's a good question.
You know,
That's a good question. But I think it's the coach's responsibility to figure out how to rest his players, and DC right now not really getting the success that they need from that. Well, success in the ET Cup has not been very good either.
No, 2 straight weeks.
Right now. 2 straight weeks, none of us getting points. Last week, Shep and Jason both picked DC to beat San Jose. Instead, the Earthquakes came up with a big win. I picked Chivas over New York, and the Red Bulls, they really killed me on this one. They put their horn right into Chivas, and they got the 1-1 draw. So the standings stay the same. I am way ahead, although tied with Shep, and you are, dropping off very much. By 1 point, Jason in last place as it stands right now. So, but let's think about this week in the ET Cup. And Shep's not here, so we will give you his predictions. He picked the New England-Colorado game, and he's saying Colorado 2-0 over New England. What do you think?
I think that's a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
I think Colorado playing at home, they will do better than they have. New England, Shalry Joseph might not be enough in this game. You said they don't have the flank play.
Which is a nice contradiction from everything Jason has said this week, that it's Shalry Joseph and everyone else and they'll do just fine.
Shalry Joseph makes them have a chance, is what I said.
Fair enough.
And do they have a chance in New England? I mean, in Colorado? Yes, they have a chance, but are they going to win? No.
What is your pick for this week in the ET Cup?
My pick, I'm going Houston 2, Kansas City 0. Kansas City, I don't think they've been playing well. They've gotten some results. The whole second half of the season hasn't been very good for them. Houston looking for Supporters Shield, potentially looking for first seed in the Western Conference. They're going to handle the business. I say 2-0.
It's a good pick.
Could really be 3 or 4-0.
It could, which would hurt you though. You'd rather stay at 2-0.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good pick. I think Houston over Kansas City. I agree. Although I do believe that Kansas City actually still has a chance to make the playoffs. So you never know. They might be fired up for that one.
This game is exactly why they won't make the playoffs, because
they're
not
a very
going to
hard
get points.
schedule down the stretch. Well, I went with the Seattle at Columbus game, and I was saying the Crew 3-1 over the Sounders. The Sounders, you know, they're just not scoring the way they did earlier in the season. Against New England, they got an early goal. It was a fantastic strike, but they didn't really create many chances after that. And I think Columbus, much too powerful in the end.
You know, I could see it. Ziggy coming back to Columbus.
Yep.
An inspired team potentially. They need it. Seattle needs this game.
Well,
at least a point.
They might need this point, or they're not going to get it in the end. That is, however, the impact game of the week for MLS this week. That's Seattle at Columbus and Ziggy Schmidt's return to Crew Stadium. That's all we have for you this week on Extra Time. But don't forget the Extra Time guest reporter contest. Check out our website on MLSnet.com for all the details. Also, you can email us with anything that's on your mind, extratime@MLSnet.com. And join us next week and we'll kick it around.